America's streams and rivers are a vital natural resource, fish their inhabitants. With smaller waters flowing into larger, shallow into deeper, each is a tributary with many dependent upon it, each inheriting its legacy from upstream, and all the while a mirror reflecting the life within and around it. In these waters, trout, salmon, and man are inextricably linked. The cold, clean streams necessary for the trout and salmon's survival are essential for human survival as well. These fish react to environmental damage long before humans can even see or feel the effects of it. When pollution begins to cloud the streams, trout and salmon suffer, warning of damage to the natural environment. These wonderful fish are nature's barometers of the environment, living scientific instruments telling us when the waters and the wildlife habitat around them are unhealthy and at a crucial stage of alert.
Hello, I'm Lee Horsley, and I would like to introduce you to an association called Trout Unlimited. It's a conservation organization dedicated to restoring and protecting trout and salmon in our rivers. Both my son Logan and I like to spend time in the outdoors. It's for Logan and generations to come that Trout Unlimited's work needs to continue. By working to save trout and salmon, TU saves whole ecosystems that wildlife depend on and people enjoy.
Since 1959, Trout Unlimited has been a guardian of trout and salmon and the waters they inhabit, an organization of over 450 chapters and 75,000 members whose hard work and financial support is vital to this conservation effort. TU is made up of individuals who share a love of fishing and the outdoors, a commitment to conservation, and are dedicated to protect and preserve our natural resources for generations to come. Trout and salmon populations are threatened by changes in the waters in which they live. Water quality in streams throughout America is deteriorating. The causes? Industry, agriculture, timber harvesting, and out-of-control development. Each has contributed to the polluted runoff, acid rain, and silt that are finding their way into many of our finest freshwater streams. Trout Unlimited's headquarters are in Washington, D.C., where an expert staff researches, educates, and campaigns for what seems to be a never-ending fight for cleaner waters. But TU's growing influence begins on a local, grassroots level where much of the hands-on work is accomplished. A good example of TU's local efforts occurs here in the Green Hills of Pennsylvania, one of the nation's largest coal mining regions. Dr. Terry Morrow found that after 40 years of mining, these sites are leaking deadly chemicals into these once vibrant trout streams, turning the waters red with pollution.
In all of Apple,
it becomes acidic, works its way into the groundwater, and eventually pollutes the streams.
The result in the streams is that the water is acidified, which directly affects all the life in the stream. And in addition, the minerals, particularly iron, that is leaching out will precipitate in the stream, creating a coating on all the rocks, which kills all of the insect life, which the fish depend upon for food. So we lose the entire life of the entire stream, really.
So Dr. Morrow and his friends at the Iron Furnace chapter of TU organized an effort to build settling and treatment ponds to purify the water before it reaches Mill Creek.
You can see from the color of the water that the iron is becoming less and less. It's depositing in these holding ponds, and we're removing 80 to 90% of the iron. Only about 10% at best is being now discharged into the stream itself.
The success of the Iron Furnace project is only one of many achievements of TU's local chapters.
Along the Cedar River in Michigan, renovating road crossings will reduce sediment and improve spawning. And in Nevada, local Trout Unlimited chapters, working with area ranchers, constructed fences, stabilized stream banks, and replanted uplands to protect the endangered Lahontan cutthroat trout from overgrazing. The Old Pueblo chapter in the White Mountains of Arizona is working to restore the Apache trout's habitat by placing structures in the water that will provide greater cover and help cool the water temperatures. And across the country, local TU chapters are educating young people in the classrooms and in the field. Trout Unlimited is helping to build an awareness of the complex and fragile interdependence between fish, the stream, the environment, and ourselves. The future of our fresh waters depends on a continued commitment from every generation. Trout Unlimited's national staff in Washington is trying to correct decades of unfriendly environmental policies. TU's research has proven that saving endangered habitat is vital not only to the ecosystem, but to the economy as well. Each year, the different strains of Pacific salmon depart the ocean and return to the streams where they were born in a procreation ritual as old as the species. It's one of nature's timeless miracles, a miracle where death spawns life, a miracle where instincts can only be interrupted by man. The fate of the Pacific salmon is imperiled. These fish are a valuable link in nature's food chain. For many animals and people, fishing for salmon is a way of life. By damming, locking, and diverting the river's flow, Pacific salmon in the lower 48 states have been driven to near extinction. Fish hatcheries, once thought to be a solution to disappearing fisheries, are often part of the problem. Gene transfer and pathogens from the introduction of hatchery trout are now thought to be highly damaging to the native and wild trout. In the winter of 1994, the Montana Department of Fish and Game found that 90% of the wild rainbow trout on the Madison River were killed apparently by an outbreak of hatchery-borne whirling disease. Hatcheries also absorb a disproportionate share of public funds. This money could be better spent on stream preservation and restoration. TU's national office continues its fight to influence policy for more intelligent management. Other Trout Unlimited projects include a legendary Montana stream. Norman Maclean spoke eloquently about his beloved Big Blackfoot River in his classic novella, A River Runs Through It. Serious mining had virtually sterilized the stream, but extensive restoration efforts are bringing the Big Blackfoot back to life. Even though the river has experienced the problems created by mining, a new mine is about to be approved at the stream's headwaters. Trout Unlimited is conducting a scientific risk assessment and hopes it will serve as a foundation for possible intervention, as well as educate the public regarding hard rock mining's risk to the fisheries and water quality. In many ways, Trout Unlimited works much like a river itself. The national staff, the local chapters, and their members join to form a powerful force, every individual a tributary to a mighty waterway. Unfortunately, the dynamics of Trout Unlimited do not occur as naturally as the trickles of water that make their way to form the Colorado and Mississippi rivers. It takes years of work and significant funds to maintain the effort. We became conservationists gradually as we saw the outdoors shrink and spoil, when we could no longer return to our favorite streams because the fish were gone, when the wild places where we used to camp had been altered or destroyed. Over time, we realized that a focus on the restoration of the environment, and particularly our waters, has wide consequences. Trout Unlimited seeks to restore and sustain not only the water in our streams, the ground under our feet, the air we breathe, and the creatures with whom we share our habitat, but also our relationship to all of these things. Without your support, the work that must be done to save our waters cannot be done. Your contributions and volunteer efforts are vital to the successful reclamation and maintenance of this precious resource. Contact your local TU chapter for news of projects that are underway, or call the Washington, D.C. office for more membership information.
If you've ever spent a beautiful day in the outdoors with your children, as I have, please consider contributing to Trout Unlimited's conservation efforts. It's what you do right now that will make a difference for our children and future generations to come. I thank you.